At least 384 people are confirmed dead, and 540 are injured after a tsunami, caused by two earthquakes in quick succession, ripped through the Pacific Ring of Fire and crashed into an Indonesian coast city on Friday. Indonesian media, citing the National Disaster Agency, said Saturday that almost 400 people had died in Palu city alone, on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. Fears are mounting for the fishing town of Donggala, which was closer to the epicenter of the quake, but which rescuers have not been able to reach. The town of Mamuju was also severely affected, but currently impossible to access due to damaged roads and disrupted telecommunications. Scroll down for video. Many of those killed in Palu were swept away by giant waves more than 10 feet high as they played on the beach in the scenic tourist town. The number of casualties was no doubt increased by the fact that hundreds of people had descended on Palu's beach for a festival to celebrate the city's anniversary, due to start Friday night. When the tsunami threat arose yesterday, people were still doing their activities on the beach and did not immediately run, and they became victims, Sutopo Purwo Nugroho, spokesman of Indonesia's disaster mitigation agency BNPB, said in news briefing in Jakarta. Some people climbed trees to escape the tsunami and survived, Nugroho said. The first earthquake was of 6.1 magnitude and hit Indonesia's densely populated region on Friday morning, quickly followed by even fiercer 7.5 magnitude tremors which caused the terrifying waves. The National Disaster Mitigation Agency warned early on of reports showing that victims died in the rubble of a collapsed building. Dramatic video footage filmed from the top floor of a parking ramp spiral in Palu and posted on Twitter showed the enormous wall of whitewater crashing into houses along the shoreline, scattering shipping containers and flattening the city's mosque. Nugroho said there was extensive damage to houses, hospitals, shopping malls and hotels. A bridge has crumbled away, and the main highway to Palu has been cut due to a landslide. Palu, which has a population of more than 380,000 people, was strewn with debris from collapsed buildings on Saturday. The city is built around a narrow bay that apparently magnified the force of the tsunami waters as they raced into the tide inlet. The mosque, heavily damaged by the quake, was half submerged and a shopping mall was reduced to a crumpled hull. Bodies lay partially covered by tarpaulins, and a man carried a dead child through the wreckage. It is thought thousands of buildings have been damaged, with some entirely swept away or demolished, leaving scores of families still missing among the debris. Strong aftershocks continued to rock Palu on Saturday morning. Photographs from the city on the coast of Sulawesi Island showed bodies being lined up along the street, some in bags and others with their faces covered with clothes. Bodies of some victims were found trapped under the rubble of collapsed buildings, Nugroho said. Injured people were being treated in makeshift medical tents set up outdoors and in the hallways of hospitals. Indonesia's Meteorological and Geophysics Agency BMKG issued a tsunami warning after the first quake, but lifted it 34 minutes later. The agency has been widely criticized for not informing a tsunami had hit Palu on Saturday, though officials said waves had come within the time the warning was issued. People in central Sulawesi and West Sulawesi provinces were told to evacuate to higher ground, though it remains unclear as to whether people remained in their homes because of the contradicting government advice. The disaster mitigation agency has not been able to get any information from the fishing town of Donggala, closer to the epicenter of the quake 27 kilometers, 16 miles, away. More than 600,000 people live in Donggala and Palu. Chief Security Minister Wiranto told Tvone the military had started sending in cargo planes from the capital Jakarta carrying relief aid. Share this article. Share the city's airport remained closed after its runway and air traffic control tower was damaged in the quake, but officials said they were preparing to reopen to allow aid to come in. Nugroho said no command center for disaster recovery has been created yet. Indonesia sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire and is regularly hit by earthquakes. Roughly 450 volcanoes make up this horseshoe-shaped belt which follows the coasts of South America, North America, Eastern Asia, Australia and New Zealand. It's known for frequent volcanic and seismic activity caused by the colliding of crustal plates. In 2004, a big earthquake off the northern Indonesian island of Sumatra triggered a tsunami across the Indian Ocean, killing 226,000 people in 13 countries, including more than 120,000 in Indonesia. Palu was hit by tsunami in 1927 and 1968, according to BNPB. Nugroho has said that essential aircraft can land at Palu airports, though AirNav, which oversees aircraft navigation, said the runway was cracked and the control tower damaged. We hope there will be international satellites crossing over Indonesia that can capture images and provide them to us so we can use the images to prepare humanitarian aid, Nugroho said. AirNav said one of its air traffic controllers, aged 21, died in the quake after staying in the tower to ensure a flight he'd just cleared for departure got airborne safely. It did. Indonesian President Joko Widodo said Friday night that he instructed the security minister to coordinate the government's response to the disaster. Jokowi also told reporters in his hometown of Solo that he called on the country's military chief to help with search and rescue efforts. UN spokesman Stefan Dujarric said UN officials were in contact with Indonesian authorities and stand ready to provide support as required. Terrifying footage shows people fleeing in panic as giant tsunami wave smashes mosque in Indonesian coastal city. Horrific video footage uploaded to social media has revealed the extensive damage caused by a tsunami. A dramatic video filmed from the top floor of a parking ramp spiral in Palu and posted on Twitter showed a wall of whitewater crashing into houses along the shoreline, scattering shipping containers and almost flattening a large mosque. People can be seen fleeing in panic as the tsunami devastates the surrounding area, which, just moments before, had a car driving in it. The impact of the disaster and the number of casualties is thought to have been worsened by the fact that hundreds of people had descended on Palu's beach for a festival to celebrate the city's anniversary. One clip even showed a baby being treated as the people grimly tried to deal with the aftermath of the disaster. Another gives a view of the impact of the tsunami from the position of a fishing boat, with the fishermen heard praying as they take in the extent of the devastation. It's clear that thousands of buildings have been damaged, with some entirely swept away or demolished, leaving scores of families missing among the debris. Remote fishing villages feared to be wiped off the map. A remote fishing village is feared to have been wiped out after a 7.5 magnitude earthquake rocked Indonesia, killing at least 384. There are concerns that the death toll will rise further as disaster response units struggle to access the cut-off nearby fishing town of Donggala. The devastating tsunami ripped through the Pacific Ring of Fire and crashed into Palu City on Friday, killing almost 400 and injuring some 540 others. The Disaster Mitigation Agency has not been able to get any information from Donggala, closer to the epicenter of the quake 16 miles away. The quake and tsunami caused a major power outage that cut communications around Palu. On Saturday, authorities were still having difficulties coordinating rescue efforts, which was also hampered overnight by darkness. Sulawesi is the fourth largest Indonesian island and is home to around 18 million people, all of whom have been put on alert following the quake on Friday.